I was pretty surprised to see how many of you are aware that Shatnez applies to sheets, linens, mattresses, shoes. I literally thought it was just for suits. I mean, I was thinking, what else do we have that has wool and linen? Yeah.
I'm afraid to say this out loud, but I
told them to have the heat going on louder so they can't hear.
Good. I'm under the impression that it's just suits. Like, that's really all you need to worry about, practically speaking, these days, where we live. But maybe, I don't know.
Right, so that was my impression also, Dave. So, that was right also. But it seems that there are so many areas. Did people get through the end? Usually people don't get to the end. But it seems that it seems to me that the guiding principle was that any clothing which is meant to keep you warm, that's what the Mishnah says, any clothing which is used to keep you warm, so that's where it's going to be an issue. So belts, is not going to be a problem.
Why would a mattress be a problem?
So mattresses, excellent. So mattresses, it seems like there's like an opinion that says to me machmer, but most of the opinions say you don't have to have mattresses because you're just lying on top of it. Excellent. That there are sheets that are machmer. But I think when we're talking about getting to look into more of our begadim, or what we're going to look into more of our things, mattress is the least of our worries. There was a whole discussion about shoes. If you have wool shoes and you have linen socks, you have two things which are not necessarily attached. I think there's a loophole also, this idea that they're not woven together. There seems to be machmer shitot and everything.
I read that part. It said if you can't pull the bottom one out from under the top one, if you have to take the top one off, then it's considered Shatnez, even if they're not attached.
Right, the Chazon Ish was machmer for shoes. He wouldn't wear linen socks with wool shoes because of this chumrah. So my take on this, and maybe I'm just trying to feel less bad about myself, is that many of us are probably more along the lines of where myself and David expressed, that we maybe Bikoshi, what we're doing is checking our suits. If that, I think that's really the one thing that I, growing up, knew that I needed to check my suits. And therefore, I think we should, at least there are heterim to rely on in terms of shoes because they're not attached. That was an important one, that it's not woven. By the way, the whole acronym, were people familiar with the idea of Shatnez is an acronym? Shua, Tavoi, Naz. Right? And what does that mean? It means that if you weave together, if you bring together two materials, so you're distancing God. So why distancing God? So maybe you have to go back to those earlier shittos, which is the reason, the time behind the mitzvah, is because maybe you're like not okay with the Bria. The Bria, Hashem created certain types of entities, certain types of products, and by you creating a new product, by taking two products and making a new creation, it's like you had to one-up God. Like God's world wasn't good enough, and you're creating Shatnez, it pushes away God. Again, one approach is that Shatnez is just a folk, we don't really understand it. And there are a few very interesting explanations in the beginning that I think I literally do not, very, very minimal about this subject. Did people surprised also the Kain Hevel? You saw that source also?
Yeah.
That perhaps it was a combination of the two different flax and linen. So, yeah.
I guess I'm not understanding. Is the actual prohibition on the mixing or the wearing? And how does it affect if someone else did the mixing? Like nowadays, we don't make our own.
Right, it seems to be on the wear.
Mattresses.
It seems to be on the wear.
Or sheets or whatever.
Right, we're purchasing.
You wear a sheet.
No, still by
Right. No, it's all about the wearing. In terms of sheets, the problem with sheets, first of all, sheets are not usually wool. Sheets could be linen maybe, but they're not going to have wool. They're cotton. Most of them are synthetic. So I think most sheets were okay. He said the thing with sheets is we're afraid that maybe you'll drape them over you. So I like to be under my sheets. I don't know who doesn't want to be under the sheets. But there is the Mishnah did mention, I'm just kind of sharing my thoughts, and I don't like a prepared shear. But the Mishnah did mention an exception if it's not directly on your flesh. So especially in the winter, I'm sleeping in sweatpants and a t-shirt. I've got my pajamas on. If you got the hoodie on, then you have nothing to worry about. There's only really if I guess, was there a time where people did not wear pajamas? Did people historically not wear pajamas? It's still
We're not going to go there.
We're not going there. You're on camera. Well, if anything, Well, that's interesting. That's a good question. So maybe, so Joseph was asking, if there's this exception that's only was directly on your flesh, then why is an overcoat or a suit jacket a problem? I wonder if that has to. Anyone have an
They
answer?
said something here about if it keeps you
Well,
warm.
if it keeps you warm.
If it keeps you warm, it's a shot. Then you can't wear
Right.
it.
Right. It seems like there were
Even
different.
if you're rubbing your hands on a towel of Shatnez, you can't use it.
Right. It just seems like there are lots of chumras, and I think for many of us who are not ready to take our entire house to the Shatnez check guy, so I think we should start with.
Well, we've had those little labels all over the place.
I think we should probably start with making sure our wool stuff. Anything which is wool looks like it might have a problem. I think those are things that we should definitely get checked out. I think it was also another thing that I never thought of. But often I do just check the label. I just read the label and it doesn't say. I'm just. This is the opposite. This is actually to scare us. But there was, I don't know if it's a footnote or it was one of the sources that apparently legally, if it's under 15% of an item, you don't see this?
They don't.
Yeah, I
You
know.
don't have to report it if it's less than 15% of the article, which means that looking at it's like kashrus.
Yeah.
Can you just read the label?
It's
It's really similar to
like if
kashrus.
it's less than 2%, they don't have to put it on the
And this is less than
ingredients.
15%.
15%.
That's a pretty sizable amount of your beged could be made out of linen. And I don't know, not the FDA, whoever is the in charge of reporting on clothes, what doesn't have to say anything. So you really have to check. He also said you can't trust your local non-Jewish tailor, because tailors also don't always want to tell you what they're putting in your thing. So
They're usually put in cheap material.
is that what it is?
I would think.
He said
Unless you
he
send
said
it to China.
he said you can't trust your local non-Jewish
stuff
tailor
in
at
Hong
Macy's
Kong.
or wherever
Well,
because
suit will never say linen. It says like, I mean, now they try to say like
100% wool.
200% wool.
200%.
You know, like in Florida they
what does
get
that
thin-
mean?
In Florida they get thinner and
It
thinner.
means
So
double
like
weaved.
a wool got exactly. It got like really breathable. And it would never say linen on it, but I mean, I guess you can check it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I just be honest because David's. I'm Ibo Nochi with Sarah. I think this is the most eye-opening of all the sharing I've seen of coming in really having not a thorough understanding of the sugya and realizing that there's probably a lot of growth I could do in this area. And I think we have to be somewhat realistic in terms of what we're going to do now that we have this information. I can't imagine we're going to start bringing like Michael said, our little tags and our couches and our mattresses and our. So I think you have the heter mattress that you're lying on, and he said the heter anyone if you're in a hotel, any public sphere. So then it's not your job to check it. It's it's not your job to go to a hotel to worry about it. But it seems that we should be more. I think this should open my eyes that we should be more mindful of buying something which is clearly a wool. Like if you have a cashmere or wool sweater, so then you probably should be getting it checked, or at least, at the very least, looking at the label to see what's in it. And if it says linen, then the next step is to then bring it to a Shatnez guy. I don't think I would have even realized you need to do that for a guy. I think I just, like David, I was thinking suits. But it seems that it's really a bigger segment. So. There's a very scary chart if anyone look at the back. It's like it goes item by item, basically saying everything needs to get checked. It said there's just a few interesting things. It says one should check garments in which significant alterations were made. The place of a lining to ensure that Shatnez is not inserted unintentionally into the garment. Specifically, if the tailor is from Eastern Europe. Many tailors use linen materials as reinforcements, and occasionally sew buttons with linen threads. Again, he goes through your boots, your fur coats, the lining on the fur coats have potential problems. Fur hats, you gotta check your Strymol for Shatnez. I mean, these are like, I never would have thought of these as
most of
being.
our stuff is fake.
What?
I mean, I know most of my stuff is fake.
Right. There could be a lot of
Everything is fake.
Fake probably.
I want to say one other
For my
thing.
perm.
We have Brenda here, so I want to give something that Brenda, correct me if I'm wrong. I never in my life heard my sister, my mother, any woman I ever know say, I have to take something for Shatnez checking. And he says, he goes to church. But have you ever heard a woman say, I've never heard a woman use the word Shatnez. And he said, and he brought the minchas. Kind of
I mean, is there a sign in the women's dressing room, check your clothes for Shatnez?
I've never heard of this,
Well,
but
coats.
it seems
Coats are a common thing to check.
a women checking coats.
Or men or women.
I've just
No,
never
it's
heard.
not-
I've never heard a woman
Well,
say the word
coats.
Shatnez. I think we are just very ignorant when it comes to this.
When we were younger, we were told, why would you take their Shatnez, for instance, in soup? They used to use linen to stiffen the collar in a
Right.
very expensive suit. Today it isn't. I remember years
We
ago.
don't do that anymore. I wouldn't know.
I don't know, I called up, I remember, this is going back 30, 40 years ago, all the college Shatnez laboratory.
That
And I
was
asked-
the common place to find Shatnez.
Yeah.
The collar.
So
But
I-
that's where they check you.
I asked
And
them,
in
what
the
kind of
band
suits
of the
can you
pants.
buy?
The band of the under the belt, the
Like
band of the
elastic
pants.
area over there.
No, the band of the pants to keep it rigid.
Because linen has a certain rigidity to it. What does linen do that
It's
It's stiffer.
it's stiffer than wool?
Yeah, it's almost like a solid piece of plastic.
So it's
very
kind of like
stiff.
a
It's
collar
stiff.
stay.
It's stiff the way I remember.
Old school collar stays. Yeah. Go ahead, sorry. Cut you off.
No, I remember years ago I called up the Shatnez laboratory and asked them what brands of suits can I have. He was very reluctant to tell me because I might not get it checked afterwards. When I told him, I just wanted to buy it so I wouldn't have the problem of having to bring it to a tailor afterwards and have the collar, removed. Then he would tell me. And there were a whole bunch of brands that definitely
They were on like the.
are very unlikely to have Shatnez. And there were brands that were very likely to have Shatnez.
So maybe we should try to get hold of this list and how people. I mean, it seems to me like I have to bring my whole wardrobe or all my wool, any wool sweaters, my coat, Shabbos coat. It seems like there's a lot of potential problems.
It's so inexpensive to have things checked nowadays.
Where do people go in Fair Lawn? It's been a problem. You don't have,
Like Creighton.
price.
He doesn't take a store.
I was gonna say,
And he's
on-
got a-
On West Englewood, they have a store. I did mine in the Heights. They used to do it in the Heights. That he was nifty. That person.
Well, the bacon
That
house
person
picks
was-
up.
He was nifty. Yeah.
Bacon house picks up Monday, it returns on Wednesday if it's good. And then there's another place on West Englewood. It's like Wednesday.
I mean, Weinberger did some of mine in Fair Lawn. He had that mitzvah day a couple years ago showing how he got brought a lot of my
There's
suits.
a mobile Shatnez lab. You call 845-262-8502, and they'll show up at your house.
Based on where?
845 is a monthly
845
exchange.
is monthly.
Monthly exchange.
Yeah, so maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the mobile lab in the Galot Express parking lot, so they get around.
You saw the mobile shot in guy?
Yeah, just took down the number.
Okay, so I-
program for the neighborhood.
We're gonna stop here. I think this is just a very eye-opening study. I hope for everyone else it was eye-opening, and at your own discretion, decide to look through the chart of what needs to be looked into. Okay.